afternoon.
Hello. Got some feedback. Oh, this is great. You guys are going to be so high energy today. I can already feel it. Okay, that might be falling on deaf ears. It's a little too much to ask for a Monday. So we really want to just have a discussion, not me discussing at you, not Chris discussing at you, not Chris and I discussing at each other, but this is going to be a really open forum in terms of what do you think. And so you guys are growing up in a really great area in terms of the evolution of technology and business. I mean, you guys are literally in the heart of a worldwide economy right now, which is incredible. That's fascinating to see. You know, coming here, you drive past like Google and Facebook and all that jazz, and that's incredible. But what we really want to know, and what we all as this community Blue Stamp want to talk about today, is what do you think is the next technology that is going to change the world? Is it going to be Facebook? Is it going to be Google? Is it going to be Uber driving self-driving cars? I don't know. But that's where we want to have this discussion with you guys and get your input and your feedback with your classmates to see, like, where do you guys picture the next 10, 15, 20 years of technology going?
What new technologies are you the most excited for? I mean, I know I'm looking forward to not having to drive myself to work.
AI?
Yeah, why?
I don't know, it's just like the new thing.
What do you see as the application of AI? Because you can say AI, and, like, where?
I guess like at home, like certain things like could be done by robots.
Like what?
I don't know, like
you thinking Jetson's robot?
I was thinking like maybe like cleaning and like laundry and stuff that people don't like to do.
Sure. Yeah, are you willing to pay for it?
Yeah, I mean if it's affordable.
No, you guys are all chuckling though. You're hitting on that great point of affordability. Like, what is affordable, right? Is it affordable for a tech worker earning $200,000 a year? Is it affordable for your average family making $50,000 a year? You know, there's huge gaps in terms of income. But I think it's a great point. Where would you most like to see the AI come from? For who else? Where else would you like to see AI become a thing? We heard cleaning. Where? With this huge market of cleaning, where do we want to clean the most?
Houses.
Yeah. Okay. Where in your house?
Everywhere.
Can't disagree with that. So we're gonna have a robot that mops,
Yeah, it's
dust.
everything.
Alright.
You know, a good way to think about this is think about the things that bother you the most, or things that you consider to be your problem points.
Interact with people.
Cleaning pollution.
I mean, AI is working. Interacting with people. Interacting with people
Like answering your door.
well, it's like basically AI being kind of like a person that says robotic.
Okay.
Like AI butler.
Not quite, but it can be one.
What else? Yeah.
I think with like the rise of more technology, like Internet of Things and stuff, security is going to be a really big issue. Because we're going to be like, because there's like a lot more technology that's being used in our everyday lives.
Certainly. So how do you envision security being enacted?
So I think stuff like cybersecurity is going to become like increasingly important. Privacy is something that a lot of people are already worried about, and I don't know, like I don't have any strong opinions on that, but I feel like that's something that's going to become like a huge concern that's already a pretty big issue today. So yeah.
Sam?
I know a company called TrustLook that's currently putting AI with cybersecurity together. So they are building like a next generation static engine with a built-in AI that can automatically read information from, for example, data you download and check and analyze it automatically. So I think that will be like helping or saving a lot of time.
So what's the difference between that and like my Norton security on my computer?
Well, normal cybersecurity uses signatures a lot, and they will be it's really inefficient because engineer have to detect the issue manually and write scripts and update the signature to and have the users to update it. But if it's with an artificial intelligence, it can just do it automatically, so it saves a lot of work time.
Sweet. I'm in. Yeah.
So Sam and Kevin touched upon a sensitive topic called as privacy, right? So who all of you think twice before posting anything on a social website? Not because what your friends will think about it, but what will Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram will do with that? Does anyone have any idea what they do with it?
I know that Snapchat stores like every single picture that you send to anyone or save, cause like there was somebody was arrested for like child pornography, and they went through all of the Snapchats and were able to like find pictures from like 3 years before. So like although they say that they delete it, they don't actually.
That's sketchy. You have to read the fine print. Sure.
The other scary thing is how quickly that kind of stuff can change. So, for example, I know Snapchat, the way they used to do it is after you viewed a Snapchat, it was still saved on your phone, but they added an extension to it that was .no media, which basically just means you can't see it from your phone. But all you have to do is like plug it into your computer and download like a certain program that like shows those files, take off the extension, and you can see it. So that's how it used to be, and then they just decided overnight, it's not good enough, and now they do it completely differently. So it's more secure now, but they equally could have made it less secure, and you'd have no idea because you kind of just tap past that, like, I've read and accept the terms and conditions like statement.
The biggest lie of everyday life.
No. Who has ever read the terms and conditions?
I read half of one.
Oh, really?
Well, half one, I read one.
I read the first 3 sentences.
First 3 sentences. All right, yeah.
Okay. Where's the soonest place I can click to move on?
Never read it.
So besides AI, privacy, what else? What do you guys? Ooh, wow.
Well,
Nice. We're getting a bunch of hands. Sweet.
Okay.
Bates first. Sorry. We're gonna go left or right. In my view.
Wait. Oh, from your view. Okay, so to kind of go back to the like self-driving car things, not only is it super convenient, it also decreases the total time spent in a car just because self-driving cars, which can talk with each other, can also reduce traffic and go faster and be safer as well. That's a major thing because there's like several thousands car crashes every year, and a car that drives itself would be a lot safer than a human who can do various things like get drunk, just be bad at driving, or tons of other
True.
screw-ups.
I heard that.
But completely apart from just consumer usage, there you can use them for trucking, etc., and construction work for transporting materials around, which will make that a lot cheaper and help with the interconnectivity stuff. But also, trucking is one of the most popular non-skilled labor, if I recall correctly. And with self-driving cars coming up really soon, then they're going to have to find something else to do.
Absolutely.
I heard that they are trying to make self-driving cars more like normal human drivers.
Less linear, less like a computer.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they cover everything. Well, see, self-driving cars do get into few crashes, but mostly because of human drivers. And human drivers on other cars, and then the human drivers keep taking advantage of those self-driving cars because, well, I said before, self-driving cars are pretty predictable. Well, aside from the past, pretty predictable. They're trying to reduce that predictability.
Reese, you had a comment on that?
Well, yeah, kind of to that. We read an article in school that was like someone ran into a self-driving car because it stopped too fast because like we don't have the reaction time sometimes to go as like humans. So if there's like self-driving cars and human cars in the road, it can be kind of hard for the human drivers because they're not quite as predictable necessarily. Someone like signaling to you or like I don't know, like things like that. I guess.
Any other comments regarding self-driving? Yeah.
It's not about self-driving cars, should I wait?
Yeah. Hold on to your thoughts. Just a moment.
One one thing about self-driving cars was like think about it realistically, like if even if they get a self-driving car, like not everyone's gonna get a self-driving car because of expenses. So there's still gonna be like normal human drivers, and like you know how like when you're driving, other people tell you like, oh, it's not you who's gonna make mistakes. Other people who like may make mistakes and hit you. So it's kind of like it's really really far away for self-driving cars.
Why do you think that?
Because like even if they do have self-driving cars, like not everyone's gonna be able to afford it.
Why? But it's software, right?
But like then not all the current cars have that kind of software.
Well, it's not entirely only software because
It's the hardware, the sensors.
hardware, the sensors too.
What if they're
While
just
that
like-
can definitely go down over time, it won't start
It's like
off
an
down.
upgrade kind of thing.
But when it does,
So
then
for a Tesla to get on the hardware is like $5,000 plus the software, so it doesn't seem like that's too far up, right?
Also, I mean, do people just need to maybe not own cars as much if you can just order a self-driving car whenever you need a car? I mean,
Your entire transportation paradigm.
like if I don't have to find parking, especially here, that'd be great.
Yeah, and so you have, on that note, you have used Teslas going for $40,000, which is the price of.
Where?
They just sold a batch of used Teslas for 40 grand. I mean, they went in like 2 days.
Let's split one.
Deal. I'm so in. You know, and so now they're gonna come out with the Model 3 at 35 starting price, which means that starting price is even less than the used price of a Model S. So now we're just driving the cost further and further down. And as more companies like Nissan, Toyota, you know, the Mirai, which is the fuel cell one, and all sorts of new technology being packed into cars, to become more and more prevalent, then the market will be saturated. 7 to 10 years. Might actually be a thing, have the majority of your cars be level 2, level 3 autonomous driving vehicles. I think it'll take time and money. Hold on one sec. Wait, is this about self-driving cars?
Yeah.
Great.
And topic. So how does so how does like self-driving cars affect Uber?
Totally great question. Hold that for just one thought. Let me get Jairus' input on the previous topic.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Great. Say it again.
How does self-driving cars affect Uber?
Affect what?
Uber and Lyft.
Ubering. Oh. I mean, wasn't Uber like founded with the idea of that humans were temporary?
But Uber is
Yeah, like the human drivers were temporary. Like, wasn't Uber like founded on that notion of they were like, well, we have to have humans right now, but let's replace them with computers as soon as possible.
But Uber is pioneering not pioneering, but they're working on the whole self-driving car division.
Yeah.
Unless you poach engineers and technology from Google.
They just don't like to follow the rules.
Comments on that? How does Uber is this massive entity. How does Uber get changed by that self-driving car problem? You know, is that good for them? Is that bad for them? Is that going to save them money? Is it going to cost them money? And then we'll live through here.
The worst thing about that of autonomy replacing humans is just the amount of jobs that people would lose, which is part of the reason why Trump got elected, because he's trying to bring back jobs to America. And that's a big problem, losing human jobs and gaining autonomy.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think for Uber, if they replace their like human drivers with like, or if it like, assuming like self-driving cars aren't that expensive, if they can get those instead and replace their human drivers, and with that in the long term, they don't have to pay those people, so it's good for them. But for like the employees, like they're not really employees of Uber, but for like the drivers, I guess, it sucks for them. I mean, but for like Uber as a company overall, it's good, kind of.
I think that like it can be good for Uber if they can figure out how to have a self-driving car themselves, because if other companies figure it out first, then Uber will decline. But if Uber figures it out first, then other companies will lose money.
I saw somebody else's hand up before you, Brian.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the one thing that makes Uber super special is the fact that, like, anyone can work for Uber and drive around. And, like, I think, like, if self-driving cars were existing, then there's so many other companies that could do the exact same thing and make self-driving cars. So, like, the competition that Uber would have would, like, increase.
I think the interesting thing to consider would be if we really got to a point where we could have like a network of self-driving autonomous cars just going around, would it eventually then just become kind of like a public transportation thing and like transcend all these companies trying to do it and have the government just step in and put out a network of these cars and just have that be the transportation system for everyone on the roads?
So why have the government step in if it's already been privatized and they've already demonstrated efficacy?
I just think it would be a likely step for the government because
Why? Because now they're just stepping in and saying, hey, this private industry that's functioning on its own, quite literally and metaphorically autonomously.
Well, but it just seems like the kind of thing because like it's something that can be so like centralized. It like literally every car is a self-driving car and it all works on one network. Because if there's a bunch of different companies doing it, could break down to this thing where it's like you have to have to like be in the right area for the right company because they have their cars there, and it can become this really complicated thing where
like the airlines.
Yeah, so I feel like and even the airlines are semi public, like they're under a different trade act where
They're regulated, but they're private.
But they're under a different trade act where they like can't go on strikes and stuff. It's like they're not totally private companies. Like they're private companies, but they're
there are a lot more regulations on the price of airline tickets.
Regulations, sure,
they're
but
private entities.
They're private entities, but they are much more controlled by the government than like
The
a lot of other.
FAA.
Not just the FAA, but like the pricing and like the business side of it is more controlled than a lot of other industries.
So you think then the autonomous network of cars is going to take the shape of the airlines?
possibly, or the government will completely step in and put in their own network of cars.
So you're never going to show up just like our USPS packages.
Pretty much.
Or, I mean, if the government controls it all, do they then just, like, perfectly know every trip you're taking all the time and just get to feed more data into the NSA?
Again, coming to privacy. Yeah.
They're good like that.
I think the biggest problem that Uber is gonna face is people believing in the fact that a driverless car is gonna drop you home. Imagine a scenario where you get into the car and there's no one, and the AI is controlling the car's locks, the belts, everything. How comfortable you guys will be in getting into a car like that, whatever the price may be, however good the technology may be.
I would say just about as comfortable as getting into a car with a stranger that I've never
No, but at least you know the stranger's like certified to drive.
Do
He
you?
won't crash you.
I mean,
It's running on a
you hope
server.
they
They're actually
are.
not. An Uber Black is like a licensed taxi and emergency driver, but Uber X and like the normal Lyft is just anyone with a driver's license.
And a car that is clean enough and has 4 seats.
Yeah.
Where's Brian? How hard is it to get a driver's license? You did it 3 days ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard.
My sister has one, and I would not drive with her if she was driving Uber.
So I just want to say, like, I don't think we currently are ready for all of that, like, crazy technology. I think because the problem is, like, the proportion of the population who have, like, the knowledge of these technology, like, it's not enough. For example, like the cybersecurity thing, if someone attack a normal person over computers, like like a lot of people have no idea how to self-defense and also over harness problem, like if they don't understand how the technology works, they normally won't be willing. I mean, like, not normally, but like a lot of people won't be willing to use it, and like to change that,
I don't know.
we kind of have to like.
Most people use technology they don't understand all the time.
So that will be even more difficult for them. That's what his point is.
I still don't understand my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make sure that technology doesn't promote even laziness?
What if that instead?
It's a great question.
I don't think you should see it.
Maybe you should.
No.
I'd like to be lazy.
Yeah, extrapolate on that.
Wall-E.
Absolutely.
We'd basically be individuals that aren't really necessary in this world.
Speak up a little bit. I don't think you can do that.
We'd basically just be individuals that aren't really necessary in this world, or, I don't know.
Could totally argue we're not necessary either way.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
One
But,
person doesn't
I mean,
do
people
it.
said, people never interacted on public transportation before cell phones, but what was common before cell phones?
Newspapers.
Yeah, daily tabloids, that was like your common thing, and you'd pick one up on the way to the train station, or to the bus station, and you'd read that on the bus or the train. Now everybody just has their daily tabloids on their cell phone, through Facebook, through new media companies. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a change in humanity, but rather a change in how we just process things and how we do things.
I think her point is interesting and also kind of gears toward the idea of like, if we think about the long-term future of humanity, over the next 100 years, 500 years, if AI is able to replace more and more things we do, we don't need people to deliver stuff anymore, we don't need to drive ourselves, we, maybe don't need to clean our own houses anymore, maybe, we get stuff that just like prints, maybe we basically build replicators that are able to create all of the items we need. Is that where we want to go as a human race? Do we want to aim toward post-scarcity, society, and how is that going to look? If you have, let's say, there are only enough jobs in existence for 10% of the population, well then what does the other 90% of the population do? Do we have basically like, okay, when you're born, you get this salary guaranteed to you by the government because, well, we just now have time for humans to do art and explore, climb mountains, and just basically is the human, like, do we just turn into 90% of the people just do hobbies and 10% of the people do all the jobs that are needed to be done? Do you think that we'll never reach that? There'll always be more jobs we just can't imagine yet? I mean, I'm sure probably a lot of the people have jobs that nobody imagined even existed 50 years ago.
20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that works for Facebook works at a job that nobody even imagined 20 years ago. So, are we headed toward a time when most people there literally won't be enough jobs, and then we have to figure out how to deal with that, or are we just not good at imagining new jobs, and there'll always be enough jobs?
Yeah. I think it's sort of something like, like the world of Wall-E, but I don't think that's going to really happen, because there's always going to be like something new or like something else that you can work on. So even though there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be living in like a lot more comfort, and maybe it's going to be something like Wall-E where you just have like, just people being lazy, I feel like there's always going to be like a drive for people to discover something new, and whether it's like art or like STEM related stuff or like discovering new technologies, there's always going to be, something ahead.
Like, I agree with them that we're always going to have more, or probably almost going to have more things to explore and to have more jobs, but the problem is if we stay with the education system right now, we're probably not going to, like, the school it's not going to advance fast enough with the technology, and it'll end up more like the situation where a lot of people don't understand the technology, and therefore they can't work for these more technological jobs.
That's a really good point. Like, maybe we won't have jobs, but we'll run out of unskilled jobs.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, like, because we don't need that many like jobs that are like requires less skill, therefore.
Well, we're gonna have to leave it at kind of that open-ended jobs and education system question.